Welcome to City League Sports. Today we are joined by three special guests, and we're going to chat it up a little bit about basketball. I'm your host, Dr. Vincent Clarino, and today we are honored to have I'm going to have a three-person fast break here today, right? So all of these basketball folks with me, I think they know about a three-person fast break. Joining today is Northland Lady Vikings head girls basketball coach, Jay Bee Bethea. First team All-City player and Northland Lady Vikings, Brianna Hamilton, and former Africentric and Xavier player, Tyeasha Moss, and currently on the Africentric girls basketball bench as well as a coach. JB, we'll start off with you. Give everybody a quick hello.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? I'm glad to be here, and let's talk sports.
There you go. Thank you, Coach Bethea. We're going to toss it over to Coach Moss over here. Say hello to everybody, please.
Hey, it's Coach Moss, Tyeasha Moss, here from Africentric. Happy to be here. Let's talk basketball.
There you go. Love it. And last but not least, right, this lovely young lady, senior, junior?
Senior.
Senior. Go ahead and tell everybody who you are. Say your name.
I'm Brianna Hamilton. I'm a senior at Northland, and I play basketball.
There you go. So as you can tell, listeners, we have an all basketball cast here today, right? And I'm sure we're going to have some fun stories about just related basketball stuff, city league stuff, seasonal stuff, all those things that are going to, help you at home get a chance to get another peek behind the window of some of the things that it takes to be a good basketball player. But Coach Bethea, we're going to start with you. You've been around the game forever. You and I have had a lot of conversations about basketball. Give everybody just like an insight to your philosophy about coaching. So here you are, you're a head coach, City League team, girls Northland basketball, lots of tradition. Give us some insight about your philosophy about coaching.
My philosophy is just getting the kids to buy in, or whoever, adults, kids, at what level, get them to buy in to your system and getting them to understand what your system is. Sometimes your system has to adjust to them, but a lot of times when you're starting something new, like at Northland, I had to make sure that they adapted to my system. And then as the season and years go on, then you change up to adapt to your personnel. But, you starting as a coach, the first thing is getting your team to believe in you and trust you.
Okay. So as you share that, I'll start with Brianna. So now, from a standpoint of a student athlete, you're at Northland. Has Coach Bethea been your only coach?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
he was there my sister's junior year, which is my 8th grade year, but my first year was my freshman year, so I've been with him for 4 years straight.
Certainly. So when you came in, the system that he's talking about maybe already has some teeth to it. How did you adjust as a student coming in, you're 9th grade, and you're seeing what Coach is labeling as the system, right? Getting people to buy in.
It took a lot, but, I'm glad I played under him. But it took a lot to get used to the system, the conditioning, the discipline, just the mental toughness part. But I think he gave me my mental toughness that I have now.
Certainly. Let's talk about conditioning, right? Woo. That's one of those things, and I share this with coaches and players all the time, right? Conditioning is not a punishment. So many athletes, and it doesn't make any difference what level you're at, right? Whether you're high school playing, or whether you're a young kid playing, or whether you're playing in college, or even if you make it professionally, people think conditioning is a punishment. So tell me, you said getting used to conditioning. Tell us a little about what does it take conditioning wise to be a Northland Lady Vikings basketball player? What does it take conditioning?
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of mental toughness. You can do it. Anybody can do it. But you just got to be mentally tough to go through it. And I feel like it helps a lot in the end because I never got tired. I might look tired, but I never was tired.
You got to give us something better.
So
we need a peek behind the window. What are the Northland Lady Vikings? Give us a peek
Am I allowed to tell the behind the scenes?
Yes, indeed. This is a fun, and this is an.
Well, you a senior.
Just give us something conditioning that was like a whoa. It was tough.
My freshman year. I'll never forget where we had strength and conditioning, and we literally were on the track for the first hour, and we thought we were done because it was dark. He said, "Time to go to the gym," and I just felt tears coming.
That's beautiful right there. And you know why it's beautiful is because you got a young person here. For all of our listeners that's out here right now, you got a young person who's a hooper. Can I call you a hooper?
Yeah, you call me a
call
hooper.
Her a hooper, right? She's smiling, everything.
Call me a hooper.
Call me a hooper, but she just said we started off on the track.
Yeah.
Right? That's beautiful to hear.
We were a track team.
There you go. A track team that played basketball.
That played basketball.
Love it. I remember my college coach said something similar to me. So, Coach Moss, let's go to you. You've had a lot of experiences. Earlier, before we turned the mics on and got going, right? So we were sitting here chatting it up, and you shared, you're an Africentric grad, but then you threw something else out. So I'm gonna let you kind of throw it out again, and then we're gonna take it and run with it. Since we're doing track and basketball now, we started off doing basketball, but now we're doing track and basketball. I'm gonna let you run with it. So start off. Tell everybody what you were saying a little bit earlier when you did the pop of the shirt a little bit.
Africentric alumni. I would say I was a part of the first to ever start actually establishing something. And what I said earlier was the first state champion,
a part
of that first state championship team.
There you go.
In 2007. So I'm proud to be able to say that I was a part of that tradition. So
that's beautiful. And so in speaking to, that type of experience, you as a young person, you're in high school. A lot of kids don't ever, right, obviously, and that's not just a Columbus City thing. Most kids are never going to make it to a state platform, right, because that just speaks to the team success, the individual success, whether you're running track, whether you're a swimmer, right, you make it to states, you've accomplished a lot in your individual sport. So just give a look back. We're talking about 2007. You're a 2008 grad, you share, so we're going back into the vault, right, 15 years ago. What was that like for you as a kid? What memories do you have that you can share with everyone? That's just a warm space for you. Give us a warm memory from going to states and winning a state championship.
I felt like, as I go back, it's one thing that I always try to tell our girls now is, in order to get to higher places, you got to create a family atmosphere. So I felt like through all of that process, I felt like I was a part of a family. And I can relate to Bree when she talks about running because Jay Bee was, one of my first coaches.
Okay.
So prior to even getting to high school, he was my middle school coach at Africentric.
Okay.
And AAU coach.
Okay.
So it was a long grind to get to 2007. I would say it started, at a younger age, but, really it started with Jay Bee in middle school. And we ran a lot in 8th grade.
Don't make no sense.
Okay.
A lot in 8th grade. So,
there you go.
We started as small victories, city championships and stuff like that. And then we were able to push through that, be mentally tough, and see the bigger picture. We wanted more.
Yeah, I love the mentally tough that I keep hearing, and we're going to circle back to that. So, Coach Bethea, based on what I'm hearing, you've been around the game for a long time, and obviously you've been touching lives here in Central Ohio through the platform of girls basketball. You get to know young people, obviously, at a very young age in their life and watch them grow up and become these beautiful people that we have sitting here today. So where does your love for basketball come from? Give us a little bit, give everybody. So the folks that just see you show up and I'm just Coach Bethea and we do right. So give everybody a little bit about your love, your passion for the sport.
Tell them what you saying.
We want you to tell the good stuff, Coach Bethea. Don't get yourself in trouble. Tell the good stuff.
Oh, no. I just told them, people probably don't know because I don't talk about it a lot. I mean, I've been knowing you, for so long, playing against each other. I'm from Cleveland, and basketball, there was a grind. Basketball was my highway to where I'm at today.
Certainly. And
I'm still riding that highway because it's still taking me places.
Okay.
So, basketball is just what I brought to them. Everything I did was exactly what I did to get to them for success because we all got the same story.
Okay.
We may not all grew up in the same household,
right? But
we write in the same book.
There
we just
you
got
go.
different chapters.
There you go.
So, the things that they tell you about running and working, I was always that kid that walked on the court and you'll say we gonna pick around him. Because I didn't have that certain look about myself.
Yes, indeed. The look in basketball, I think in all sports, is probably the most important. We'll get to that. But if you've ever been anybody who's listening out there at the park, people picking up teams, sometimes somebody just has that look, right? And then they get on the court and they're not very good. Yeah. So the look in basketball means, and I don't know if it's like that in other sports. In other sports, the look is not as important. But you're saying you didn't necessarily have that look, but you had the game. No, I do know that part. So you had the game.
So I always had a chip on my shoulder. So I've always played like that, and I did everything in that way. I think, everybody have life-changing moments.
Okay.
And I think I was 12 years old, and I was in New York, and I was at a basketball court early before everybody got there, and they didn't pick me. It was actually 10 people. I was the 10th person.
There you go.
And this pre-cell phone, they was like, "Oh man, my boy said he on his way."
Right. On his way.
It's only 9 people. It's only
Yeah.
10 people here.
Right, yes, indeed.
So they
and it's 9 o'clock
yeah,
in the morning.
Yeah, didn't nobody. So I was just like upset about it. Somebody walked up and they picked him up and they played. So the next person that came up was a female. And I said I had next, and then they said, "Nah, she got next."
Whoa.
So, I'm not from there. That's New York. I'm not from there. So,
Yes, indeed.
no, I'm being quiet. So I
But
said,
she had game, though, I bet.
yeah, she had game,
Yes,
yes.
indeed.
And I asked her, I said, "Well, can I play with you?" She said, "Sure." So when she put me on that court, the team that won, it was on a mission.
Yes, indeed.
It was on a mission, so I went right at them. So
The beauty of it, and I've never heard this story from you, and I don't know if this is even part of your journey, but maybe unconsciously, that story in that moment where this young lady picks you up on the team, because you've played your whole life, maybe that directs you into being a coach, a mentor for girls basketball, and being such a catalyst and a voice. You shared something about adversity here a moment ago, so I'm going to shift it to this young lady sitting over here, our Northland Viking senior. You had some adversity here when it comes to injuries, right?
Man.
And I can relate to you 100%. I remember my junior year in school when I was in college. I tore my knee up. And I remember we were playing OU. And for those of you that are out there, we love to give shout-outs here. So you can give shout-outs. We were playing OU. So Gary Trent and some of those guys, but more importantly, Kurt Simmons, Marion Franklin grad, these OU guys are beating up on everybody. I hurt my knee in that game, didn't play anymore that season, and kind of was debating whether or not to even play like my senior year. Like, you know what? And so I lost a part of my love, right, for the game, because when you can't play, playing is your fuel. Right, when you're an athlete, getting out there and competing is your fuel that keeps you going. So tell us a little bit about your journey. I know you had some injuries. It just put you, in a space. And then how do you rebound as a young athlete, major injury, get back out there and then have the senior year that you had? Share that with people. And you're allowed to cry too if you want to hear this. This is a safe space. Crying, laughing, and everything is fair in here.
My journey to my senior year was actually very tough. My freshman year, I started the season off with a stress fracture, and I was on a boot. So I didn't even start off my freshman year. Then I got rid of that injury, came back my sophomore year with intentions to get after it, just to play my heart out. Ended up playing in the fall league. Shout out Brick League, though. Love my peoples.
Okay.
Ended up playing in the fall league. No, sophomore year. Was that freshman year?
it was your freshman
Summer, going to sophomore year, AAU. Okay. I was playing in practice with one of JB's teams, and we were playing 101, was in the air, got taken out, came down wrong. Pop, yeah, heard that. But I played the whole summer on it. I didn't even know I tore it. So I just thought it was just an injury where I just take some ibuprofen, ice it, went to go play volleyball.
There's a lesson in that right there for listeners at home.
Oh, yeah.
We'll circle back. I'm not stopping your thunder. Keep on going.
Went to go play volleyball, actually, my sophomore year. It was bothering me. I didn't know. I'm like, my knee hurting, don't know what's going on. My mom and my dad took me to the doctors, came back, "Oh, you don't have an ACL." Huh? I don't have an ACL, so had to have a total knee reconstruction. Wow. So it was like, I still had hope because I was young. Certainly. So I was like, I can come back my junior year, get to it, bounce back. Came back, recovered from the first ACL, was playing in Brick League, blew the other one out, trying to save a ball.
Ouch.
So it was like back to back. But then after this one, I didn't even want to play. Like basketball was like, I was like, I'll just go focus on school or something. Because I lost all love for it.
So what helped you find your way back? Teammates, coach, family?
And friends.
Ooh, I love it. Okay.
Family and friends, definitely, because they was like, you can't give up on yourself.
Give your older sister some love. You can do that.
My sister is definitely my motivation. Like seeing her play in college.
Say her name. Go ahead and give her some love. There you go. Come on, you can't just say my sister.
Shout out to my sister
Lexi. There you go.
My sister definitely kept me going because it was like she saw the potential in me I didn't see even after me being hurt. Like
nice.
I didn't have it no more.
Family's important.
Definitely. My mom, my coaches, everybody around me just was like, Brianna, you can't give up.
There you go.
You can't. So I was like, you know what? I'll try it out. So then we went to go get the MRI from the doctor. He was like, it's not as bad as the first one, so you still could play. So I got the brace, played my whole junior year on a torn ACL.
Wow.
Nobody knows that.
Right.
So played the whole junior year on a torn ACL, got the surgery after, recovered in about 6-7 months.
Okay.
Came back for the senior year.
And then the rest
Had
is
a
just,
blast.
and the rest is just, you know,
Rest is
so
history.
there's a lot of takeaways. I'm gonna steal some nuggets from your story, and I want listeners to really absorb this. First and foremost, this is a shout out to parents. Parents, if your child is a student, if your child is an athlete, and they're saying, and I'm not saying yours didn't, I'm saying for these other parents,
Yeah.
right? If your child is saying they're hurt, listen to them. Students, as you're playing, if you're hurt, you can't just take some ibuprofens and keep on going
Yeah,
through it, right?
that's
You
my
gotta
biggest
you gotta
advice.
listen to your body. I like that. So you got to listen to your body, right? And so it's good that you're sitting here. You recovered. You had those opportunities to grow. Great story, and I feel the love about a support system.
Thank you.
I say that I say this for young people all the time, and I know we're all out here. We have different situations, whether that's single parents, two parents, whatever household situation you're in. But if you don't have that total control, right, as a kid over your support system, you do have total control over your peer support system.
Yes,
If you're hanging out with somebody that's not on the same page as you, that's not trying to go the same places you're trying to go, or you just get that intuition, that gut in your feeling, in your stomach that says this ain't right, that's probably someone that shouldn't be in your life. But it sounds like you had a good support system. I remember your sister.
You guys surround yourself with great people with great intentions.
I like that. So I remember watching your sister play. I know your parents, you know what I mean, good people in your home, and it's good that you've been able to, be on that journey and find your space. Now, you talk about family, and for those of us that are sitting here, right, the listeners may not know, but I know the three of us know, the four of us know, Tyeasha Moss comes from a family of hoopers, right? Like it's basketball in the, I don't know, like basketballs might get handed out in the Moss family just when you get born, right? Like that might be part of the process. Tell us a little bit about growing up in the Moss home and just the hoopers and everything that was going on, right? And then here you sit, and I want you to also, when you share about growing up in your home, hooping, basketball, but then give us some Xavier love. Let us know what was going on at Xavier. Give us a little bit of that. We heard the Africentric state championship.
Yeah.
We saw the, for those that are watching, we saw the shoulder shake. But give us some Moss family love and give us a little bit about Xavier.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, Bree, I commend you for your
you.
recovery. I never knew to that extent that, you had that many injuries, and for you to be able to find your way again, I commend your strength for that.
We
for
just had a
honestly.
moment.
Oh,
We just had a moment.
she's gonna cry, man. She's
A moment.
No, for
everybody.
real, because I know, having like even major or minor injuries, I know like how it can
Certainly.
hurt you, in your mental during basketball. For you to recover from that many injuries, you got a strength that a lot of people don't have. So
Thank you. Don't make
For
me
sure.
emotional. I'm quick to cry.
That's because
I'm emotional too, so it's okay.
There you
Quick to
go.
cry.
So yes, I grew up in a household of I had 4 older brothers,
Okay.
and I am the only girl and the youngest,
Mm.
and we all played basketball.
Certainly.
So with me being the youngest, I was able to just kind of watch my brothers do their thing on the court. My oldest brother, Raheem, he played at Brookhaven. My second oldest brother, he ended up leaving Brookhaven. He played a little bit at South.
Okay.
Back to my oldest brother, he went on to play college ball and play overseas a few. And then my second oldest brother, he went to play basketball at South, ended up having a heart condition, so he stopped playing.
Step away. Yep. That's part of it.
My third oldest brother, he played a little bit. He was more of a football guy.
Okay.
He just would come out there and shoot.
Yes,
Left-handed.
indeed.
He was like the eyeball. He wore glasses. He was left-handed, only left-hander, and
Yeah.
named after my dad. So
Okay.
he still played, but it just wasn't as serious as the rest of us. He was more football. And then my fourth oldest brother, he's closer to me in age, and he was really the one who taught me how to hoop.
Okay.
Tykeem.
Okay. Giving some credit out there
Yeah,
to
shout
him.
out to
Okay.
my brother Tyeasha Moss.
I feel that.
He was the one who used to always put the ball in my basket, in my hands.
Okay.
And he was the first one to make me cry in the workout.
There you go. Well, he put the basketball in your hand, but you put the basketball in the bucket because you
Yeah.
could score, you could play. I remember seeing a part of your journey and watching you out there. So you go from Africentric, you land at Xavier, you're playing, and at the time, I believe Xavier was in the Atlantic 10 still.
Yes.
Yep. So when I played in the Atlantic 10, Xavier was a part of the league. I think they're in the Big East now.
Yes.
Yes,
New
in the
Big
Big
East or
East.
something like
Yeah.
that. So you're playing in the Atlantic 10. Give us a little bit. Give us something fun about Xavier. Give our listeners a little bit about your journey while you was down in Cincinnati hooping.
First off, like I said, I grew up and me and Jay Bee was like real close. Jay Bee is like a father figure to me, so
Okay.
real close. He was in a part of my college journey and choosing a school to go to, and Xavier was actually the smallest school on my list, and I knew nothing about them until like my senior year when some of our AAU kids had they went to that school a year before.
Okay.
So they gave me choosing Xavier over a lot of, schools like Louisville and DePaul and, West Virginia and UC
Yeah.
were my top five. They really made me feel like it was a family.
Nice.
So after transitioning from Africentric to Xavier, I felt like that was the closest thing that was going to make me feel normal.
Wow. And you said a lot about family today. You started off family. You talked about the family, the
Big.
Moss family,
Everything.
Xavier family, right?
Everything.
That's our
beautiful.
thing. That's the thing that we used to instill in them is we're a family. Like
100%.
that was the thing at the beginning.
We can
of
all shine
atmosphere.
together.
We won.
Yeah.
No one's above the team. No one's above anything.
There you go.
We family.
I
Yeah.
like that.
What I
That's how
eat,
you- that's
what I eat, you eat.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
what we have put inside to them. And basketball to me, because I've been knowing her since
Yeah,
she
forever.
was Tyeasha Moss.
Yeah.
I knew her when she was scared of me and would run away
Yeah,
from me.
there you go.
When she was
Indeed.
when she was younger, she would run away from me because she was scared of me for
Big
some
bad
reason.
wolf, indeed. I get it. Sometimes I run away from him. Don't feel bad. He come up to me, and we're not gonna turn this into something else. But sometimes he comes to me, and I know the conversation he wants to have. I go running sometimes myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just always taught them because our backgrounds are similar. We're a family. This basketball was a family, and I think when she did choose Xavier, because one thing I told her is all about. It's not the name that you play for; it's if you can play at the name you went to.
There you go.
And that was my thing.
Gotta be
I
a
told
good
her.
fit.
Right, and then she had that AAU family because
Certainly.
it's always been a family, so it was a comfortable thing. And I was trying to preach to them younger. It's, you win games and you win things before you even play the game.
100%. A lot of people don't realize that the game and winning is just, a catalyst and end result to all the work you've put in before that. You're not going to have any magic dust that you can
sure.
sprinkle on the game all of a
Yeah.
sudden. If your opponent is that much more prepared than you, if your opponent has worked on their game more than you, whatever sport it is, you can't just automatically just sprinkle magic dust and go from there. I got to do one thing before you shift too much to family and those things. From an Atlantic 10 standpoint, I just got to share a little bit. So the Atlantic 10, you get these it's a great basketball league. It's a great basketball conference, but you get these really unique where people don't know, and you go up to St. Bonaventure, right, to play in upstate New York. So you have these moments, and you have your Philly trip. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that, right? That going to play the Bonnies, on the Philly trip was always a big time in the Atlantic 10
sure.
because there was a couple of teams in Philly, so you would stay there for 2 or 3 days. It was the longest trip that you would have on your conference schedule. So I just had to share a little bit of Atlantic 10 love here. So I hear you, Coach. I want to circle back. You've given us some stuff about your philosophy, about building a program, getting people to buy in, family, all of those things. So what's next for you? Share with us your vision, Northland girls Viking basketball. Where are you going? Have you arrived? When do you know you've arrived? When has the program become what you want it to become? Give us some vision and what's next for Northland Viking girls basketball.
Well, you arrive when all your players come back and tell you how much they miss you.
Love it.
Some people feel like you arrive because you won a championship. Nah, it's the people that come back to see you and you let you know that, man, I have done something. And
There you go.
they understand, they give me stories. So my vision is to keep doing what I'm doing at Northland. We gonna go hard, we gonna practice hard. It's gonna be discipline. You're gonna learn at 2:45. You better be on that court with them shoes straight, not just walking to the court.
Love it.
You in full mode.
I love it. Yes,
you in
indeed.
full mode. So it's just to get kids, and really not the kids, but the past people in Northland to come back so these young ladies that's playing now can understand the Northland tradition. See, Africentric, you was part of the tradition being built. There, it's been around since the early 60s or 70s. Northland High School, you know, they have a state champion. They have the first woman ever dunked in the game.
Come on, give it up now.
They have a lot of history.
You can't just
there.
say the first woman. You got to say her name.
Oh, man, there you go. You did that to me. I'm Google. I'm buffering right now. But I'm going to get to you. Georgiana Wales.
There you go. Come on. I'm going to help you out.
Georgiana Wales.
I'm going to help you out.
His daughter actually played at Xavier.
Yeah.
Her name is Madison.
There you go.
Let's give you a little bit, too.
Yes, indeed. No, I got it. That's why I'm prompting you for it. Yes, indeed. So to give her another little bit of love. So she played at West Virginia, left Northland, went on to West V, and went down there to Mountaineer Land, and that's where that famous first dunk occurred at. But go ahead. I don't want to stop your thunder. So you're saying there's a lot of history there, and so now, as you're sharing about kids giving back, so I'm going to piggyback on that theme for a moment, right? So young people, if you're listening to the show, those of us like myself that have been in education for over 20 years and have tried to help and guide young people along their path and their journey, one of the things that I say to people all the time when they're asking me about getting into this profession, whether it be a teacher, a coach at this adolescent level, this is thankless work while you're in it. Because there's not a lot of thank yous. Parents ain't coming along to pat you on the back and say how great you are. They're not calling teachers and say you're the most right. But young people, if you have someone, or even our adult listeners, if you have a teacher, an educator, somebody that helped touch your life, go back and give them a thank you. That's the rewarding part for us when somebody comes and seeks you out. And that's the part for me, you know, being my entire time in Columbus City. I'm out at games, and so when I see someone who's an adult and I maybe coached them or I taught them in school or maybe I was an administrator at their building and they come back and they say, hey, man, I know I was a knucklehead, but I really want to appreciate you, say thank you for staying on me. Those things mean a lot. So, I know you're around some of your former coaches, but by all means, Tyeasha Moss, if you get a chance, go give somebody some love, pass it back. Young lady, pass it back. Brianna, right, pass it back. And then, who knows, maybe we're looking up and we're sitting here. I don't know, what's next on your journey for you, but, as part of this family, right? So you got the Northland family, you got the Brick League family, you got your own family. There's lots of families out there, and we want to add Columbus City to being a part of your family, right? So as you're on your journey, lean on, whoever you can lean on for some help, for some love, whatever we can do to kind of help you along your path. They're giving me the signal in the back, right? And so yes, indeed, I'm coming to you first, right? So we're going to go to Coach Bethea first. Give us some thoughts on your outro, what you want to say as a closeout, and we'll wrap around the table here.
I'd like to give my first thing is a shout out to the great Eddie Clark that was helping me at Northland, who just passed away a few days ago, that played at Columbus North, was one of the main people who beat John Lucas' team in high school when they were undefeated to win the state championship. And he's a Columbus public grad, and he's helped me at Northland all the 5 years I've been there, so I definitely want to give him a shout out.
Definitely love it. An important fabric, not just of your program, but of Columbus City Schools. And always had a kind word to share with you, was always someone that would pull you to the side and give you just a little tidbit of his wisdom. So if you were lucky enough to meet him, you were blessed because you were fortunate. We're going to save you for last, young lady. So Coach Moss, Tyeasha Moss, we're going to go to you. Give us some thoughts as you close out. Anything you want to share with the listeners?
First, my shout out will go to Jay Bee.
Okay.
Jay Bee and McKinney. A lot of people don't know, like growing up, I came from a basketball family, but, my childhood was rough, so I definitely want to commend them because I feel like they saved my life.
Okay. Beautiful.
So shout out to them for that. It's always love. And, you just never know who's in your corner. For the young people that are listening, the people that are trying to tell you what to do.
Come on now.
The ones that are being the hardest on you and showing you something that you may not be able to see at that moment. Those are the ones you need to open your ears to. It may be hard to buy in. It may be hard to physically do it at the time. But, just don't shut them out because, the heights, the things that they are trying to get you to reach in the long run, you'll never see until, you open your ears. So definitely take in all the advice you can from the people around you. And then not only, it's Northland, but Africentric, but it's a basketball family.
Certainly.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So feel free to reach out to anybody, and ask some questions. Don't be closed in. Don't always
That's right.
feel like it's a competition unless you're in those lines. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
But other than that, we're all trying to reach the same thing when it comes to basketball. So talk to as many people as you can and give as much knowledge as you can.
I love that. I mean, and I'm glad you shared that because, we've had some very high points as a school district when it comes to girls basketball. And young ladies, get back out on the court. We want to see you grow and learn and love the game, right? That's what I'm saying. So we want to continue to foster that. Before we do the outro, Brianna, we want to give you an opportunity to share some thoughts here as we get ready to close out.
I just want to give a huge shout out to my family, my coaches, my friends, and especially, like he said, Coach Clark, because, man, conversation with Coach Clark was special to me. Like, now I look at it, it meant a lot. And we going to miss him dearly, but I just really want to thank him. And don't give up.
There you go.
To everybody, to all the kids my age, if you feel like life hitting you too hard, don't give up. It's always a light at the end.
I love that. You
always
almost
a light
made
at
me
the end.
cry on that, especially after you
It's
shared a
always
part of your
light,
journey.
so just keep pushing, keep doing it. Oh, shout out to Columbus City Schools.
There you go. We'll take that. Yes, indeed.
'Cause y'all made me who I am today.
There you go. Well, we're fortunate here to have this platform to bring in special people like you all. I got to read this stuff to pay the bills and all that type of good stuff, right? That's what they say. I don't know if that really means anything for us, but this is what they tell me I read on the outro, so we'll read it. That's all we have for today. Thank you for listening. Much love to our guests for coming through. Be sure to catch all the future episodes on WCBE Radio 90.5. You can also catch us on Spotify, Apple, or the platform you prefer to listen to your favorite podcast. Additionally, follow us on Instagram at City League Sports 614. I'm your host, Vince Clarno, and this is City League Sports. We appreciate you listening in with us today. Out.